Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Dee's Mindful Monday Musings. Today, it's on my heart to chat to you, with you about some information that I've been receiving in my dreams. For those of you who don't know, I am Dee, and I have this beautiful Eternal Soul Evolution YouTube channel to keep you apprised of all kinds of beautiful things that are happening in the world of spirit and different ways that you can enjoy spirit, perceive spirit, and always encourage you to find your own path in the spiritual realm because you really can't do it incorrectly. We all have our own path to walk, and it looks different from other people's paths. There may be some similarities, but there are always some differences. So just embracing that and also reminding you not to be afraid to pursue the path of spirituality because there truly isn't anything to fear. So just wanted to remind you of that. Um, I'm just sipping on some chai tea, some hot chai tea while I'm chatting with y'all today. What I really wanted to talk to you about today is some information that I've been receiving in my dreams and in other ways also in my waking hours that I've been impressed upon to tell you about. So I would like to preface this conversation by letting you know that it is never my intention to instill fear. I do not operate from a place of fear in my life at all. I operate from a place of preparedness, however, and I know there's a lot of energy floating around on this planet and beyond at this time. It can be really intense and seem very thick and heavy sometimes with some of the things that are going on in our world, on our planet, in our home countries and other things. So I do live in the United States, so I'm talking about this from that perspective and just I just felt like I need to get this information out there. So I do feel, and I've been seeing in my dreams a lot of information about growing our own food and paying attention to the soil in our areas and in our for our growing of our plants and things like that. But I really feel like it's super important to, if you don't know how to grow your own food, to learn how to grow your own food. There are millions of books and videos that you can watch on YouTube and other platforms, I'm sure. Learn how to do this. Get some kind of basic idea what you need to do to learn how to grow your own food. Get yourself some seeds, get yourself some plants, and be prepared to grow your own food because I feel like that's going to be something that we're moving towards. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out. I do feel like it will be within the next year that we really need to be mindful of this. Also, putting back like not crazy amounts, but not like crazy amounts, but putting back some water and some dried beans, dried rice, some canned goods, whether those are canned goods you buy from the store or those are canned goods you process yourself at home, which is always a beautiful thing and much fresher for us, and we all know that. So being mindful of those things, and also if you are out in the country and you do have a well, if you could have a hand pump installed where you can access water without electricity through an electrical pump, um, having candles and lighters at the ready, batteries, generators, things like that, because I really do feel like we're going to need these things. I do feel like there's going to be some extensive power outages and we're going to be without power for a while and long enough that we're going to need to do some of these other measures, having generators to keep our refrigerators going, our freezers going if we have those, so that we don't lose the food that we do have. Again, this is not to instill fear. This isn't based on what other people are saying, but simply the way that I feel and the messages I've been receiving myself. I've never put messages out here like this before, so it's a little bit scary. I'll just be honest. It's a little scary for me to get on here and say these things because I don't want to instill fear in anyone, but I do. encourage you and invite you to be prepared because I feel like we're going to need it. You've probably been hearing a lot of talk about we're going to have wars and things like that on in, our country as well. And I'm not saying that won't happen. However, what I'm saying is my feeling about it and the information that I'm receiving isn't that of like a global war as much as it is things that will be happening in our own country because of the divisiveness that has been created in our country. And also because of the power outages that we're going to experience and food shortages, water shortages, and things like that, I feel like are going to create a situation where we're battling amongst ourselves more than I feel like we'll have a global war. I feel like it'll be more of an internal thing in our country. Like I said, I am in the United States, so I'm speaking from that perspective. And I'd love for other people, if you're in another country and you feel like you're going to be experiencing this type of thing in your country as well, I invite you to comment and let us know. Send me an email. I'm happy to get back on here and discuss this topic again. And comment on and share the comments that have been shared on this video from other countries and whatnot, because I am very interested in that as well. I don't watch mainstream media, so because I don't feel like that's accurate information at all. So I would love to, if you live in another country, to invite you to comment and share what you feel will be happening in your own home country as well. So, uh, Yeah, I know that's a kind of a bit of a heavy message, and that's one of the reasons that I was a little bit nervous about getting on here and sharing it as well, because I know it's not my normal, more upbeat kind of message, but I do feel like it's very important for us not to keep our head in the sand and to be prepared, because when we're prepared, then it makes that transition period easier, even though it's something we may not really necessarily be like, woohoo, we're experiencing this, right? But at least we'll be prepared, and we'll have food and we'll have water, and we'll have those things that we really truly need. So I'm very interested in you sharing your thoughts with me on this. Again, I know this is a very heavy topic, and I know that there are probably going to be a lot of you who have opinions and comments and thoughts about it, and I welcome you to share those. I welcome you to share those. I absolutely do. But I did feel, and I keep getting told, you need to share this message. Do you need to share this message? So I am sharing it. I've talked to some of my friends locally about it. Steve and I are already preparing in our own home for some of these eventualities, or not some of these eventualities, but these eventualities. And by, you know, getting the rice and the beans and the canned goods and all of the things I just said to you, we're doing that ourselves. We're accumulating those things, not in massive quantities, because I don't feel like it's going to be that extensive, but I do feel like it's going to be extensive enough that if we're not prepared for it, we're going to find ourselves in a very, very unpleasant situation. So um, please take this to at least consider. I really invite you to at least consider these possibilities, and be prepared, because when you're prepared, then you don't have to be afraid, right? At least that's the way I feel about it. And that's the message that I'm putting out there today. And I thought it would be really cool to draw a couple of my Earth Magic cards, since this is kind of an Earth message today, and just see what the cards have to say about for the collective, about the energy that's floating around about this particular topic. So I'm just going to shuffle these and see what we get. Okay, we've already had a couple pop out. So um, let's see what we have here. Okay, so we have whale, and it says breach, which this is bringing things into the light that have been under the surface. So that's pretty on point with what we're talking about. We've got full moon here, and I don't feel like this is about the full moon that's coming up in a couple days, which will be just right after this video drops actually. But this completion of a cycle, we're ending some of the cycles in our country particularly that we've been used to for so long. I really feel like some of those are coming to a close, and we're going to be start seeing some new things, some things that aren't familiar, maybe make some people uncomfortable, but I invite you to be as open as you can be about it and not fight against the changes that are coming, because the more we fight against things, the harder it is for us to move forward with those things. And quite honestly, we need a change. We need a lot of changes in our country in particular. So the next card is music, harmony. So I feel like this is about us joining together and banding together in harmony instead of allowing ourselves to be so divisive on issues that, let's face it, a lot of them aren't that important, especially if we're going to be, when we're going through some of the things that I discussed previously in this video. We need to band together in harmony and work together and forget about some of that other crap that we allow to divide us on a day-to-day basis in this country, which just really aren't that important. They're really not that important at the end of the day. We give them so much more power than they actually ought to have, truly. So that's my look on it. So joining together and working together in harmony and lifting each other up and helping each other and moving through life from our heart center, which allows us to live in harmony, not only with other people, but with ourselves too. So I feel like that's a super strong and important message. And the next card is lightning and power. So that there is power when we join together and work in harmony, right? There's power in that. There's just, I mean, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you work together to do something, and not so much power when you're just fighting each other all the time. That's not power. That's actually the opposite of power. So those are some things I invite you to consider. And just, yeah, I mean, like, that's the energy that those cards are putting out for the collective right now regarding this issue that I just discussed. So again, as always, I thank you so much for participating in my life through the listening of the videos on my channel and the group that I have is Spiritually Speaking group. I always drop that link. You're welcome to join me on Facebook over there in my group. And that's where you'll be able to interact with me more on a day-to-day basis. And that link will again be at the bottom, in the description box below this video. You're always welcome to comment on these videos, and I will always comment back to you. And you're welcome to email me if you have something that you would like to discuss with me. If there's anyone out there that would like to come on a podcast with me and discuss this more, I'm happy to have a pre-chat with you to see if we resonate and are a fit together. And then I would totally consider having you on a podcast to discuss this very important topic, because I feel like the more we get this information out there, the more people are going to be prepared and not, as the old saying goes, caught with their pants down, because that's not going to be a fun situation to be in. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for commenting, subscribing, liking these videos, sharing them with other people who need to hear this information. And as always, I love you all, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.